Mike's on it. Let me start over. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June Open Council meeting. A reminder, this is an open council meeting and a working council meeting, so we are following a tight agenda, and we ask that microphones stay muted and cameras can be off to limit distractions, and that comments or chats from members should be saved until the open forum period at the end. During that time might be limited for each person to speak depending on how much time we have left, but you can always send an email to council@kingstonfoodcoop.com with any questions or comments, and we'll be sure to share out those answers in the next email. And we will end our meeting with an executive session, which is just for the council to discuss any potentially sensitive topics. And we can get right into it from there, actually. So I'll pass it to our outreach coordinator, Siobhan, to give us some co-op updates.
Thank you, Kendall. So we usually start with the membership count. As of today, we have 1,296 members in our co-op, and within that 1,296, we have 248 Solidarity members. For updates or member events, we will be having a community walk this Saturday at 11, weather permitting. It does say rain, but we will make the call either the day before or the morning of, depending on if the rain is bad or not. So you can check our Instagram or Facebook for that. And we are working on some really cool and fun projects for this summer. So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities coming up. We have, I don't know if any of you guys have seen just yet, but we've had a community garden that we started at South Pine Street. It's more of like a community effort. So there's co-op members that have helped out. It's also supported by KLT, but anyone is welcome to help and plant or just help steward that. So what was I gonna say? Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. But yeah, if you're interested in community gardening, you can reach out to us. We're gonna be planning another open day. We had one earlier this month or end of May, but we'll be planning another one soon. And we're also going to be looking for volunteers for a low and no cost market that we're trying to start up for this summer, next July. Tentative date is Saturday, 29th. We're still working out a lot of the logistics, but that is our goal, is to have it open that day. So stay tuned for emails and how to get involved and volunteer with that, because we definitely need a lot of help to make it a success. But that's all I have. I'll pass it back to Kendall. Hopefully I didn't forget anything.
Thank you, Siobhan. And we'll start with committee reports by having our financial report from our treasurer. I can share my screen in 1 second. Okay. Sway, take it away.
Hello, everyone. All right. So some of the summaries from the work that the committee has done in the past quarter, finalized the work plan for the next quarter, supported the Capitals project through the pause period, and getting some of the fiscal items in order to make proper decisions. And then reconciled a lot of the accounts to be able to provide and create an actual budget request for our fundings. Some of the goals and projects for the next pay period or the next reporting period: pay all outstanding invoices for capital project to be completely at a clean slate when it comes to that. review and revise our chart of accounts. This is something that needs to be done now. And this was actually something that started in Q2, but won't be finalized until Q3. Creation of budget trainings for council and committee members. This is so that we are able to receive or to create budgets based off of what we need, and then how do we incorporate data collection within our budget requests so that we can justify everything that we do. And then create and submit the new funding request. This will be done in Q3, and I believe it will be done sometime in July as well. This past month, the entire expensive came up to $14,636.25. This was a cumulation of all the operational expenses as well as salaries. Another thing that some of our account balances right now in our checking accounts, $35,579.80. Savings account, $7,285.85. Member equity total is $190,038.88. And then with our GWI grant reserves, it is now $646,832. That amount will drastically go down as soon as the July next reporting period. So in our next monthly meeting, that number will drastically go down overall because we will be paying all of our capital project expenses on that. Another thing that we are looking to do for Q3 or for this next month is to start preparing for the onboarding of our new finance committee chair. That hopefully will have that transition will happen within the first 2 or 3 weeks of July.
All right, biz dev. Thank you, finance. Should I just do biz dev and capitals project back to back? Probably help. Okay. So we finished the Q3 work plan also. We finished supporting capital project and re-administering capitals project functions, which I would get to in the next period, sort of like, in the capitals project update. That is sort of like refiguring out how we're organizing and approaching the next stage in our capitals project development. And we launched the market study enhancement questionnaires for both local organizations. So with that, we're looking at all the organizations in Midtown and some, a little bit further in Kingston, to figure out how our primary programs, which are the community kitchen, the childcare space, and the gardens, could really support the existing programs out there. Today, we had an incredible conversation with People's Place and some ideas that I can't wait to share with the council and include in the plans. In addition, Victoria, who is our capitals project manager, has been helping and having a lot of meetings with different community gardens, Eat Well Kingston, Live Well Kingston, and some other folks. So some exciting, really fun ideas and partnerships have come out of that. And the implications that it has on the the co-op and how we develop our indoor spaces and outdoor spaces is just exciting. So I look forward to that. But we officially launched that initiative, and with the local bodegas, we're trying to figure out exactly like what shouldn't we sell, what should we sell, how can we be in partnership with them, how can our shared storage program and our bulk buying initiative really support them. So that has been very warm, receptive. There's a new bodega actually that has just opened up right next door to the co-op. So yeah, I'm really excited about sort of their path and how we can support them too. And then the goals for the next reporting period. So is the final program document and overview plan to share with the council and capitals project based on the market study enhancement. So all of this research that we're doing right now, how does that translate into a finalized program sheet? Next is to reinvigorate biz dev members. We were going back and forth on sort of what to pay biz dev members and how the stipends piece work, in addition to the pause at the co-op and changes in sort of personnel. So all of that has been figured out. So I'm looking forward to the biz dev members who have signed up to jump in on completing some Q3 tasks and looking ahead at Q4. And lastly, supporting finance and member equity reconciliation. So we know that some people have some accounts that are due from member equity and XYZ. We just want to reconcile the whole thing and figure out a more robust management tool for our member equity. So that is all for BizDev. Before we move on, are there any questions around BizDev activities or anything listed here? All right, keep it pushing. All right, Capitals Project. I feel this in lieu of a Capitals Project chair right now is to be assigned. As y'all may know, Lindsay Von Miller, her term is given up and she used to shepherd the Capitals Project piece. And now is to be assigned, is split between Sway and myself. We're getting to a function right now. So the major updates here are we work with contractors on managing expectations during design pause. So we will announce it this week via newsletter to everyone that we went on a Capitals Project / design pause due to the estimated budget for the project being significantly over what we targeted. So we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and make sure the programming is right before we move forward. So we work with contractors just to say, hey, pause payments, X, Y, and Z. Just make sure they're still on the project and make sure we communicate effectively everything that they need. Capitals Project piece also supported me, BizDev, and I mentioned Victoria, who's our Capitals Project Manager, on the market study enhancement plan to finalize what goes into the store. Oop, there's a typo there. But Victoria has been the legs in a lot of ways to figure out exactly based on what the community says and how programs are currently operating, what tweaks and edits maybe we need to make to our programs to complement what is already there. And also work with Novo, who's funding a lot of majority of our initiatives, and the finance committee, who's handling finances, to set the next steps in Capitals Project development. So based on what we get from BizDev, based on where we are right now with contracts, which require re-looking at contracts, and based on what we determine which should be the next phase in administering Capitals Project, that's a heavy hand with both Novo, who supports us financially, and finance, who manages those finances and hold those contracts to help determine what goes next. So Victoria has been working very hard with all committees involved, but especially Novo, our funder and finance committee, to set the next steps in Capitals Project development. And for next reporting period, we should go back to the conceptual design revisit of the grocery store. That's the first sort of start. So based on the program plans, based on sort of where we are with re-administering the Capitals Project piece, we jump right into conceptual design. So basically, what does this enhanced market study tell us about our programs, and how may that operate within the space? So we relook at that. And then next, a precursor to that is actually working with BizDev on the final program plan and equipment and capital implications. So for example, one thing we found with People's Place was they're super excited about the idea that what we initially hoped would be a grocery pickup could be a satellite People's Place location with pet supplies or something like that, right? So that requires certain equipment and certain functions and everything. So just going through and figuring out, based on what we learn from the community, and enhance our programs with what does that mean for Capitals Project starting off. So Victoria and Capitals Project will be helping a lot with that. Yeah, so are there any questions with respect to Capitals Project, the pause, the deliverables, the next steps, or anything? All right, pushing along.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Kevius. So in Community Integration Committee, as Siobhan shared a little bit, we've been working on a lot of awesome programs to initiate this summer. That should say Q3. We created our Q3 work plan, like everyone else. And today and prior to this, Siobhan met with the Kingston Farmers Market, some representatives from there, to discuss a partnership for this summer market. I know we've talked about it before, but the idea behind the summer market is to have something that sort of looks like a farmer's market in Midtown, but it allows for free and reduced produce and food, also prepared foods and activities. So something that makes, of course, food and also things like the farmers market accessible to everyone. And so there's a lot to be done there in terms of identifying partnerships, also needing volunteers, which Siobhan already brought up. And we will definitely be looking and calling on our members to step up and help with that initiative. We also have our garden bed at the South Pine Street Community Garden, and we did a good amount of planting. We had donations from Long Table Harvest, which was amazing. We planted a bunch of stuff, corn and tomatoes and herbs and everything. And soon that will be open once a week for people to come and collect the harvest, essentially in the same way, in a pay what you can or pay what you want type of format. So keep an eye out for that as well. And Siobhan's been working to identify grant opportunities to also support the summer market. We're looking to make it as big and efficient as possible to be able to feed as many people as we possibly can. So going forward, of course, there's a lot of logistics to be figured out around this with the summer market. We are looking to establish a solid volunteer team with our members. So definitely keep that in mind and spread the word. And this weekend, the community walk, as Siobhan already talked about, weather permitting, will start at 11. I don't know, where is the community walk starting this time, Siobhan?
We should meet at the Broadway Bubble, just so that it's like, yeah, next to the co-op building.
So starting at the Broadway Bubble, thank you. And submitting this grant application for the summer market. And yeah, we have a couple of partners we're planning on reaching out to, including Abundance Farms, Sky Hive Farms, the Farm Hub. But if anyone does have any other ideas for people we should reach out to in terms of partnerships for the summer market, please send us an email and let us know. And our only expenses period was $18.12 for snacks when we were planting for a few hours at the community garden. Yeah, any questions from the council? Alrighty. Okay, Nina?
Okay, cool. What is governance? Where is that? Is that just like in a different order? Okay, cool. Cool. So in terms of governance, we've primarily been focusing on transition. So the offboarding of Lindsay, the onboarding of Siobhan. We did work planning for Q3 as well, alongside all the council members. We also reviewed, based on staff feedback, the cost of living adjustment, and how that applied to staff salary. And then, yeah, so that was a lot of what we focused on in the last period, largely staff, council member transitions. And then in terms of what's coming up for the next reporting period, we'll be reviewing and updating as needed committee structure, reviewing any compensation associated with that. And then there will also be my offboarding as my appointed term is coming to an end. And then we also have lined up a board self-assessment just to evaluate where we're at, if there are any gaps, any things that we need to be aware of within the council. And in July, there's the annual consensus training that's happening, where we make sure that folks who are just coming on understand how consensus works, as well as just reviewing any challenges or things that we're trying to learn about within the board. And then this is a goal, but we'll see whether we get to it in this next month, around just creating a plan around deepening council member knowledge of policy governance and beginning to establish a plan for developing our policy register, and an ongoing and then the last thing is filling officer seats. So this happens each year. There's an opportunity to vote and to determine which council members serve as which officers. So that's coming up in July as well. Any questions or anything anyone wants to add? And I guess I'll also note while we're on here that Siobhan has joined the governance council committee as well, and will be kind of a secondary supporting member of the governance committee. And in terms of nominations, we have various council members have been meeting with potential committee members or council member appointees just to get a sense of where people might be a good fit to plug in and contribute to the food co-op where it's at this moment in time. So that's been happening. We're still in communication to see whether these folks want to join committees, what that position might look like, how they can be involved. So there's conversations are ongoing, and that is the same. Those are the same activities we'll be engaging in over the next reporting period, really trying to build out the capacity of committees through recruiting members, as well as hoping that by having more folks involved in committees, when there are council member seats open for election or appointment, people will have kind of just started easing into being more involved in helping run the food co-op. And so this will be a good way to have more people excited about participating in some version of leadership. I think that's it, unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Nina. No, I was just going to add to our members' call to action to spread the word. If you know anyone who would be fantastic to be on one of these committees or would be interested in being on a committee or being appointed to the council, please tell them to reach out to us and let us know, because we're definitely looking to expand in that way. But okay, well, thank you. We'll just make sure that there isn't any other new business from the council. And if not, I'll open up the floor for open forum. So please share your questions, comments. You can do it in the chat or raise your hand and unmute. Either way. Yeah, Karen.
Yes, I would like to know a little more about the Pine Street Community Garden.
Yeah.
And no committees for me or anything like that, but how is it looking? And do you need someone to have some sense of responsibility to go over and make sure it's cared for? And who is responsible? Who would be a contact person for me? I want to know that there is someone who is responsible for caring.
Yeah, I would be the contact person for sure. And you can definitely email me, Kendall@KingstonFoodCoop.com. But it is looking really good. At the beginning of the season, we were struggling to actually fill the beds, but now we have a couple beds. The Kingston Land Trust has a bed. Trish and Joel, who are the overall stewards there, still have their beds. And a couple of neighboring families also have beds, which is awesome. So now it really is a community garden. And it's looking really good. We've been doing a lot of weeding and planting, and things are growing. So we're definitely looking for some people to commit to just going and checking on it, seeing if things need to be watered, Yeah, basically just making sure it's staying stewarded and looking good. And I'm pretty close. I'm like the closest one to that garden out of all of us. So I'm planning on going over tomorrow to just take a look at it, but we definitely could use more people who are committed to just checking on it and whatnot. And also
Yep.
for the farm stand,
Yeah.
we're looking for volunteers if you're interested in that at all. When we do open it up, someone to just be there to help harvest and give out food and walk people around.
You mentioned, and I forget in what aspect this was, but I was thinking, do you have any collaboration or with Seats on Farm at all, or do you ever with Creek Iverson? Do you know who I'm talking about? Do you
I
know?
know Seed Song Farm because I also work at the Land Trust, and I know we do a lot of work with them and are partnered with them, but the co-op doesn't have any partnerships with them right now. But is that something you'd suggest?
No, because you said, yeah, you said if you thought of someone else
Oh yeah.
to reach out to it, to put maybe Creek for the farm, for the this farm stand that you want to, I don't know if he'd want to do that or not, but be part of that.
What was it was the person's name was
Creek Iverson, he's the farmer for the Seats on Farm.
and he might be interested in donating or
I
volunteering.
don't know.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just wanted, like, just somebody to reach out to. And okay, so thank you. Good to know. I'll just
Yeah.
go and check out the community garden. It's considered the food co-op community garden. Is that actually who's administering this? Is the food co-op, or who's actually
Christian and Joel are still the main stewards of the
okay.
space there, and now we're partnering with them. So we're basically whatever
Okay.
they need is what we're.
So Joel is still the farmer there then?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
and no problem. And thank you for that recommendation. And also, we will be sending out some more stuff about volunteering, just a way for everyone to be able to, I don't know, schedule when they're going to be there and leave updates. So what would be the best way to share that with you? Email maybe? Or
Yeah, I love that idea
okay.
of having a check that somebody's checked in and make notes and do it through email or however you think is best. Yeah,
Okay.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you.
We answered some questions in the chat, so we just see the questions and the answers, just so that they're heard for folks watching the recording.
Yeah.
So one that came from me was, what are examples of volunteer opportunities that may be available through the Kingston Food Co-op outdoor markets? And is it expected to be fully paid, stipended, like the situation around that? Siobhan replied and said, volunteer opportunities include staffing the market, such as tabling and helping distribute produce, collecting donations, set up and break down. As far as stipends, they haven't been discussed yet, but definitely may be available. And then Brad asked, what is the status of the leadership search? Is it also on pause? And I replied and said, we are looking to revamp leadership search this quarter with aims of hiring leadership Q4 of this year, which is September, October, November, December. So somewhere during that time, we hope to hire. And thank you, Brad. You're welcome for the update, and thank you for being happy to still volunteer for that. We would definitely be back in touch as soon as we have more details and like for sure plan in place for you. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and I'll add just a little about the market. I think there will also be a couple of volunteer opportunities prior in terms of like prior to the day of the market, in terms of setting up, and also just some volunteer education stuff. And in terms of the stipend question, I will say that this market is is really a redistribution opportunity. So everything. We'll be making zero money from the market. So ideally, you know, anyone who is participating would be volunteering. And I think if it was a special situation, then we could take another look at that. But otherwise, the ideal situation is that people who have the ability to volunteer their time or to donate food can do that, so that other people can acquire healthy food for free or for very low cost.
Also throwing in there that it's only once a month right now. So when I said definitely can, I meant like we can talk about it, but as far as building in a stipend into like the budget, we're working on the budget to like be able to subsidize the food and collect as many donations as we can. So that would be the priority, and I would hope that some of our members would want to volunteer for this. But yeah, thank you for answering that, Kendall.
Yeah. Any more questions? Great questions so far. Thank you for those.
Karen?
But you're muted, Karen.
Is there a contact list for you or the leadership there, you know, emails to be able to get those? Isn't it, if I go to your website? you know,
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat right now. It's kingstonfoodcoop.com/leadership, and all of our
Okay.
emails are on there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, trying to check the chat. If there are no more questions or comments, or if you think of something after this, you can always email council@kingstonfoodcoop.com. And otherwise, we will now go into our executive session. So thank you all for joining us today, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Great.
Amazing.
Recording.
Oh.
Oops, thanks. How do I stop it?